Have you ever felt like you've woken up in a world that isn't quite your own? A world where small details are wrong, where places you know have different names, or where your own history seems to have been rewritten. It sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, but what if I told you a story that suggests this might be more than just fiction? This is the perplexing tale of the man from Taured. Our story begins on a seemingly ordinary day in July 1954 at Tokyo's bustling Haneda airport. Amidst the usual chaos of travelers rushing to their gates, a well-dressed man in a sharp suit approached the immigration counter. He appeared calm, confident, every bit the seasoned international traveler. He handed over his passport. At first glance, it looked completely normal, filled with stamps from various European countries, marking a history of frequent travel. But as the immigration officer inspected the document more closely, a frown creased his forehead. The passport was issued by a country called Taured. The officer, an experienced professional, had never heard of it. Was it a new nation, a simple typo? He called his supervisor over. Together, they scrutinized the passport. The paper quality, the ink, the official-looking seals, everything seemed authentic. Yet, the country of origin remained a complete mystery. Puzzled, the officials brought out a world map. "Can you show us where Taured is?" they asked. The man, without a moment's hesitation, pointed to a small region nestled between France and Spain. "Right here," he said with conviction. "My country has existed for over 1,000 years." The officers exchanged bewildered looks. The place he was pointing to was the tiny principality of Andorra. When they mentioned Andorra, the man looked genuinely confused. He insisted he had never heard of a country called Andorra. To him, that land had always been, and would always be, Taured. The situation was escalating from a simple clerical error to something far stranger. The man was moved to a private room for further questioning. Things only got weirder from there. The man spoke fluent French and Japanese, adding to his credibility. He willingly produced a whole set of supporting documents, a driver's license, checks from a Taured bank, and even business papers from the company he claimed to work for on this business trip to Japan. All of these documents were issued by the mysterious nation of Taured, and none of them showed any obvious signs of being forged. They looked as real as the passport in their hands. Desperate for answers, the authorities decided to verify his claims. They called the Japanese company he was supposed to be meeting. The company existed, but they had never heard of him or his company. Next, they called the hotel where he said he had a reservation. The hotel confirmed that a reservation had been made for that night, but not under his name. Every attempt to corroborate his story led to another dead end, another layer of impossibility. Throughout the hours of questioning, the man remained remarkably composed. He wasn't panicked or defensive like someone caught in a lie. Instead, he seemed genuinely frustrated and bewildered, as if the world he knew had suddenly dissolved around him, replaced by this strange, incorrect version. He was a man out of place, a man whose entire reality had been called into question. By now, it was late. The officials, completely stumped and unsure of what to do next, decided to postpone the investigation until morning. They booked him a room at a nearby hotel, placing 2 guards outside his door to ensure he didn't disappear. The room was on a high floor, with no balcony and a window that could only be locked from the inside. There was no way out. The man calmly agreed to the arrangement and was escorted to his room for the night. All of his personal documents, including the strange passport, were locked away in the airport's security office for safekeeping. The next morning, the mystery deepened into the realm of the impossible. When the guards went to check on their unusual guest, they unlocked the door to find the room completely empty. The man was gone. There were no signs of a struggle, no forced entry. The window was still firmly locked from the inside. It was as if he had simply vanished into thin air. But that wasn't even the most baffling part. The authorities rushed back to the airport's security office to check on his documents. They too had disappeared. The Taured passport, the driver's license, the bank checks, all gone from a secure, locked room. It was as if every single piece of evidence proving the man had ever existed had been erased from reality overnight. A massive search was launched immediately. Japanese police scoured the hotel from top to bottom, interviewed every staff member, and combed through every record. They found nothing, not a single trace. The man from Taured and his entire country had vanished without a trace, leaving behind only a baffling story and a handful of bewildered officials. The story, as you can imagine, became an urban legend, a modern myth whispered among paranormal enthusiasts and mystery lovers. What really happened that day at Haneda Airport? Explanations range from the mundane to the extraordinary. Was it all an elaborate, perfectly executed hoax? If so, to what end? How could he have vanished from a locked room? And how did his documents disappear from a secure office miles away? Then there are the more tantalizing theories. Some believe the man was an interdimensional traveler who accidentally slipped through a rift between two parallel realities. In his world, Taured was a real, ancient country, and Andorra was the fiction. He spent a day in our reality before slipping back to his own, leaving us with a fleeting glimpse of a world that runs parallel to ours. Others suggest a time travel anomaly, a glitch in the fabric of space-time. While the story has been embellished over the years, many researchers point to Japanese government records from that era that hint at a bizarre, unexplainable incident involving a foreign national at the airport. The core elements of the story persist, defying easy explanation. Ultimately, the tale of the man from Taured taps into a deep universal fear. The fear of being lost not just in a strange place, but in a strange reality. The terrifying thought that the world you know, the history you've learned, could be just one version of the truth. It makes you wonder, are there cracks in our reality? Are there other worlds, other histories running alongside our own, just a thin veil away? Perhaps the man didn't vanish at all. Perhaps he simply went home. Back to a world where his passport makes sense, where his company is waiting for his report, and where the maps all show the proud 1,000-year-old nation of Taured. What do you think happened? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the unknown. If you enjoy exploring life's greatest mysteries, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. Until next time, stay curious.